Okay, Ray, you're about to embark on Coach Stu's final TOEFL test. This is actually the Infinity Key test. And we're going to find out just how much of the training you've absorbed and are able to apply in a test situation. Okay, we've been building all these different little skills, giving you tactics and strategies for the last few weeks. Now we're going to see if it all comes together. And I'm going to observe you under pressure and see how you react to it and if you've picked up. And this will also help us identify where specifically in the training we need to focus. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to build up your anxiety. I want to make you nervous. Okay. And then you'll go into the 4-7-8 breathing to try and calm down. So I'm going to try and make you nervous so you have somewhere to calm down from, because you look pretty calm right now. So I'm going to try and change that. And then you're going to go into a power pose session, which I will talk you through as well. Okay. So to begin with, to try and make you nervous, your dream is to study law in America.
Yes.
Okay. And
that's correct.
You hope to be attending law school in America in a year from now.
That's correct.
September 2025.
Yes.
So and the one thing, your grades at school are not stopping you. You have good grades. The one big obstacle to you achieving success and getting into law school, and therefore the other dreams you have for life, are all depending on this TOEFL test.
Well, yeah, it's getting inside. And
It's getting exciting, yeah.
Yeah. No, it me some anxiety feeling. Okay.
Yeah. I want you now to imagine the worst case situation. You go in, you write the test, and you freeze and you panic, and you actually get a lower score than your previous score. Imagine that situation, right? So you miss the deadlines to get into law school. September 2025 is not happening. What is your life like now? What do you do if you do not get into law school in America? What happens to Ray? Does he go to law school here?
Oh, I've been to my law school in Taiwan. I have been to law school. I'm graduate from college, but right
You
now
don't have your LLB though, right?
I have my LLB. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay. Okay. So you're going for even more. All right.
Yeah, I want to go.
You want to practice in America, though. You want to be a lawyer working for a big firm in America. You don't want to live in Taiwan, right?
That's yeah.
That's a dream.
That's a dream. Yeah, that's a dream. That's a dream.
So I want you to imagine that dream can't happen, and you're working in a Taiwanese law firm. It's really hard to make partner. You know, it's a long, slow process, and things aren't going well because of this TOEFL test. I want you to think, stupid TOEFL test. Are you feeling anxiety now?
More bird.
Okay,
kind of
good.
Kind of depressed.
Now do your 4-7-8 breathing. And the only thing you think about while you're doing 4-7-8 breathing is the counting. Okay? You breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. You hold for 7 seconds. And then you slowly breathe out for 8 seconds. And you repeat that until you feel the anxiety is gone. Don't fall asleep. Okay?
Yeah,
but I want you to empty your mind. So the only thing in your mind is the slow rhythmic counting to 4 to 7 to 8 to 4. to 7 to 8. You understand? Okay, in through the nose for 4 seconds. Counting. Hold for 7. Counting. That was a fast 7. Hold for 7 seconds, okay? I'm gonna bring up the 478 video to help give you a pace. Keep doing it. Keep focusing on your breathing and your counting. No movement, be still. You don't need your hands to count to 7. You're a very smart guy. Just focus on the counting. Now take a big breath in and a big breath out. Oops. Okay. And a big breath in and a big breath out. Now, I want you to take off your headset and not yet, I gotta talk to you first. You're gonna go stand in front of your mirror and you're gonna take a bunch of different power poses. Yes, yes. Like you just scored the winning goal in a soccer game, okay? For 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, you'll feel it. different poses, and in your brain, I want you to think about all your dreams coming true. You're living in Manhattan, you have a brownstone on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. You're the most sought after lawyer in corporate law in America. You're driving Maserati. Dream big, power up, okay? Don't laugh at it, take it seriously, okay? Go, 3 minutes.
Should I find a room or I do it right here?
No, off camera, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Off camera.
I want you to
Okay.
do it in front of a mirror.
In front of the mirror, okay.
Yeah, okay, full length if you have a full length mirror, see your whole body. Big poses, positive thoughts, yeah, energy, okay?
Okay, 3 minutes, okay.
3 minutes, come
Then-
back when you're done.
Okay, got it. Hi coach, I'm back.
3 minutes later, okay, good, and you already, I can just tell by your face, you have a lot more energy. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, so now you're going to do watch a video for 14 minutes and 24 seconds. And you're gonna take a lot of notes. Okay? And when that's finished, you have 20 minutes to answer this question in written form. Here is your question. How does the material covered in this video relate to your life? You understand the question?
relate, okay, how this,
To your life, to Ray Cooper's life. You understand?
okay, understand.
Okay,
My
so you're
life.
gonna watch this video for 15 minutes. And when I stop the video, you start writing, we will do it in brain training.
Okay,
Okay, just down here, where's the bottom of your brain training? Go to chats and come up. Right here, okay? Okay, any questions?
no.
Okay, here we go. Don't worry if you've seen this one already. I don't think you have, but.
That's this one.
So how do we learn? And why do some of us learn things more easily than others? So as I was mentioned, I'm Dr. Laura Boyd. I'm a brain researcher here at the University of British Columbia. And these are the questions that fascinate me. So brain research is one of the great frontiers in the understanding of human physiology, and also in the consideration of what makes us who we are. It's an amazing time to be a brain researcher, and I would argue to you that I have the most interesting job in the world. What we know about the brain is changing at a breathtaking pace. And much of what we thought we knew and understood about the brain turns out to be not true or incomplete. Now, some of these misconceptions are more obvious than others. For example, we used to think that after childhood, the brain really could not change. And it turns out that nothing could be farther from the truth. Another misconception about the brain is that you only use parts of it at any given time, and it's silent when you do nothing. Well, this is also untrue. It turns out that even when you're at rest and thinking of nothing, your brain is highly active. So it's been advances in technology, such as MRI, has allowed us to make these and many other important discoveries. And perhaps the most exciting, the most interesting and transformative of these discoveries is that every time you learn a new fact or skill, you change your brain. It's something we call neuroplasticity. So as little as 25 years ago, we thought that after about puberty, the only changes that took place in the brain were negative. The loss of brain cells with aging, the result of damage, like a stroke. And then studies began to show remarkable amounts of reorganization in the adult brain. And the ensuing research has shown us that all of our behaviors change our brain, that these changes are not limited by age. It's good news, right? And in fact, they're taking place all the time. And very importantly, brain reorganization helps to support recovery after you damage your brain. The key to each of these changes is neuroplasticity. So what does it look like? So your brain can change in 3 very basic ways to support learning. And the first is chemical. So your brain actually functions by transferring chemical signals between brain cells, what we call neurons, and these trigger a series of actions and reactions. So to support learning, your brain can increase the amount or the concentrations of these chemical signaling that's taking place between neurons. Now, because this kind of change can happen very rapidly, this supports short-term memory, or the short-term improvement in the performance of a motor skill. The second way that the brain can change to support learning is by altering its structure. So during learning, the brain can change the connections between neurons. Now here, the physical structure of the brain is actually changing, so this takes a bit more time. These types of changes are related to long-term memory, the long-term improvement in a motor skill. Now, these processes, they interact, and let me give you an example of how. So we've all tried to learn a new motor skill, maybe playing the piano, maybe learning to juggle. And you've had the experience of getting better and better within a single session of practice and thinking, I've got it. And then maybe you've returned the next day and all those improvements from the day before, they're lost. What happened? Well, in the short term, your brain was able to increase the chemical signaling between your neurons. But for some reason, those changes did not induce the structural change that are necessary to support long-term memory. Remember that long-term memories take time, and what you see in the short term does not reflect learning. It's these physical changes that are now going to support long-term memories and chemical changes that support short-term memories. Structural changes also can lead to integrated networks of brain regions that function together to support learning. And they can also lead to certain brain regions that are important for very specific behaviors to change their structure or to enlarge. And so here's some examples of that.
Thomas Edison, the great inventor, was known for his afternoon naps, but he napped in a really curious way.
So people who read Braille, they have larger hand sensory areas in their brain than those of us who don't. Your dominant hand motor region, which is on the left side of your brain, if you're right-handed, is larger than the other side. And research shows that London taxi cab drivers who actually have to memorize a map of London to get their taxi cab license, they have larger brain regions devoted to spatial or mapping memories. Now, the last way that your brain can change to support learning is by altering its function. As you use a brain region, it becomes more and more excitable and easy to use again. And as your brain has these areas that increase their excitability, the brain shifts how and when they're activated. With learning, we see that whole networks of brain activity are shifting and changing. So neuroplasticity is supported by chemical, by structural, and by functional changes. And these are happening across the whole brain. They can occur in isolation from one another, but most often they take place in concert. Together, they support learning, and they're taking place all the time. So I've just told you really how awesomely neuroplastic your brain is. So why can't you learn anything you choose to with ease? Why do our kids sometimes fail in school? Why, as we age, do we tend to forget things? And why don't people fully recover from brain damage? That is, what is it that limits and facilitates neuroplasticity? And so this is what I study. I study it specifically how it relates to recovery from stroke. So recently, stroke dropped from being the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States to be the 4th leading cause of death. Great news, right? Well, it actually turns out that the numbers of people having a stroke has not declined. We're just better at keeping people alive after a severe stroke. It turns out to be very difficult to help the brain recover from stroke. And frankly, we have failed to develop effective rehabilitation interventions. The net result of this is that stroke is the leading cause of long-term disability in adults in the world. Individuals with stroke are younger and tending to live longer with that disability. And research from my group actually shows that the health-related quality of life of Canadians with stroke has declined. So clearly we need to be better at helping people recover from stroke. And this is an enormous societal problem, and it's one that we're not solving. So what can be done? One thing is absolutely clear. The best driver of neuroplastic change in your brain is your behavior. The problem is that the dose of behavior, the dose of practice that's required to learn new and relearn old motor skills, it's very large. And how to effectively deliver these large doses of practice is a very difficult problem. It's also a very expensive problem. So the approach that my research has taken is to develop therapies that prime or that prepare the brain to learn. And these have included brain stimulation, exercise, and robotics. But through my research, I've realized that a major limitation to the development of therapies that speed recovery from stroke is that patterns of neuroplasticity are highly variable from person to person. Now, as a researcher, variability used to drive me crazy. It makes it very difficult to use statistics to test your data and your ideas. And because of this, medical intervention studies are specifically designed to minimize variability. But in my research, it's becoming really clear that the most important, the most informative data that we collect is showing this variability. So by studying the brain after stroke, we've learned a lot, and I think these lessons are very valuable in other areas. So the first lesson is that the primary driver of change in your brain is your behavior. So there's no neuroplasticity drug you can take. Nothing is more effective than practice at helping you learn, and the bottom line is you have to do the work. And in fact, my research has shown that increased difficulty, increased struggle, if you will, during practice actually leads to both more learning and greater structural change in the brain. The problem here is that neuroplasticity can work both ways. It can be positive. You learn something new and you refined a motor skill. It also can be negative, though. You forgot something you once knew. You become addicted to drugs. Maybe you have chronic pain. So your brain is tremendously plastic, and it's being shaped both structurally and functionally by everything you do, but also by everything that you don't do. The second lesson we've learned about the brain is that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to learning. So there's no recipe for learning. Consider the popular belief that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to learn and to master a new motor skill. Now, I can assure you it is not quite that simple. For some of us, it's going to take a lot more practice, and for others, it may take far less. So the shaping of our plastic brains it's far too unique for there to be any single intervention that's going to work for all of us. And now this realization has forced us to consider something called personalized medicine. So this is the idea that to optimize outcomes, each individual requires their own intervention. And the idea actually comes from cancer treatments. And here it turns out that genetics are very important in matching certain types of chemotherapy with specific forms of cancer. My research is showing that this also applies to recovery from stroke. So there are certain characteristics of brain structure and function that we call biomarkers. And these biomarkers are proving to be very helpful in helping us to match specific therapies with individual patients. And the data from my lab suggests it's a combination of biomarkers that best predicts neuroplastic change and patterns of recovery after stroke. And that's not surprising given how complicated the human brain is. But I also think we can consider this concept much more broadly. Given the unique structure and function of each of our brains, what we've learned about neuroplasticity after stroke applies to everyone. Behaviors that you employ in your everyday life are important. Each of them is changing your brain. And I believe we have to consider not just personalized medicine, but personalized learning. The uniqueness of your brain will affect you, both as a learner and also as a teacher. And now this idea helps us to understand why some children can thrive in traditional education settings and others don't. Why some of us can learn languages easily, and yet others can pick up any sport and excel. So when you leave this room today, your brain will not be the same as when you entered this morning. And I think that's pretty amazing. But each of you is going to have changed your brain differently. Understanding these differences, these individual patterns, this variability and change, is going to enable the next great advance in neuroscience. It's going to allow us to develop new and more effective interventions and allow for matches between learners and teachers and patients and interventions. And this does not just apply to recovery from stroke. It applies to each of us as a parent, as a teacher, as a manager, and also, because you're at TEDx today, a lifelong learner. Study how and what you learn best. Repeat those behaviors that are healthy for your brain and break those behaviors and habits that are not. Practice. Learning is about doing the work that your brain requires. So the best strategies are going to vary between individuals. You know what? They're even going to vary within individuals. So for you, learning music may come very easily, but learning to snowboard, much harder. I hope that you leave today with a new appreciation of how magnificent your brain is. You and your plastic brain are constantly being shaped by the world around you. Understand that everything you do, everything you encounter, and everything you experience is changing your brain. And that can be for better, but it can also be for worse. So when you leave today, go out and build the brain you want. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have till 9:30
9:30.
to
Okay.
give me a my best draft.
Okay.
Okay? You got 20 minutes. You can click on my icon to find where to start writing.
Hold on.
The bottom of Brain Trainer.
Range. Oh, okay. Range trainer.
You just click on my icon there and you find it.
Oh, I found it. I found it.
There you go. Okay. So you got till till 9:30. I'm gonna pause the recording, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna record the last 5 minutes of your writing, okay?
Okay. Okay.
We've got about 9 minutes left. Five minutes. About 2 minutes left. Less than 1 minute. Ten seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time's up. Hey, nice catch on the emphasizes there. Good job. Nice. Okay. How do you feel? Wow, it's hard work, huh?
Uh, yeah, and I need to work on the structure of my sentence. Yeah.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we have to discuss about this.
Yes.
But that was 35 minutes of really focused English with pressure of the clock. We had the time going. Okay. So before we do anything, would you like to just go shake it off, go get a glass of water and just chill out for a minute? And then come back and we'll do a review of what you did.
Okay.
Okay, take a little break. I'll be sitting here waiting for you.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, coach.
Mama lie.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, a lot of things to talk about, and if you listen to Simon Sinek and people about communication, it's always good to give some good news. Okay, so the last few minutes of your writing, you will see in the video that you were moving quickly through the paragraph and making changes, right? Your editing skill was going pretty well. You were finding a lot of mistakes that you made. You had forgot to put first, second, third, and you went in and added that. You saw the lowercase I and changed it to capital I. Emphasizes, I thought you were gonna get it wrong, but you got it, you fixed it and you got it right. So you were making lots of good judgments in the last couple of minutes when you were writing. In the listening, what I was watching for was I didn't want to see your face. When you take notes, all I see is the top of your head. When you're listening, you're up and watching the screen. Okay, what was there to see on the screen? There was nothing to see on the screen. She didn't have a slideshow.
No.
She was just walking and talking. You did not need to see her,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So there was specifically from around the 6 minute to the 9 minute mark of the video, you didn't take any notes, or maybe a couple of quick jots of things, but your head was up and you were watching the video. Okay, that was time that you could have been head down and making a plan for how you want to answer the question. Even start while you're listening, you kind of half listen and you start figuring out what your thesis statement is going to be. Your first statement, right? But anytime that you are not taking notes, either picking up pieces of information that you can use in your answer, or formulating your plan, thinking of vocabulary, jotting down notes, always continually making notes. Anytime that you're not, that's time you're just throwing away. Really valuable time, really valuable time. Free time, right?
Right.
And it's gonna hold that same kind of thing. You gotta get good at this, right? It's a skill that I'm just exposing it to you for the first time. Now you go, oh, okay, now I need to practice this. And if you practice it at this level for a 15-minute video, imagine you gotta be taking the notes, you got 15 seconds or 30 seconds in the speaking test. So now apply that when you're doing the mock speaking questions that I gave you. Right, and taking your notes constantly, and the notes are to make a plan. The time is to make your plan. You need to make decisions quickly. Okay, and there were, as I think of it, this video gave you two possible decisions to make. Okay, I think I have to come back to that in a minute. So. But the good side is, I did see a lot of the top of your head. You did take a lot of notes. I really noticed it, like I said, from the 6 minute to the 9 minute mark, there was very little note taking. Okay, so I think, I can't see your notes, but look at your notes. Are you proud of how far your note taking ability has come since you first started? It's improved, right? But it's got a long way to go. You can see that. And now you have two ways to practice taking notes: quick notes and long form notes like we just did. And you have a strategy. Use that time to make your plan okay? Make your plan. That's the priority in that, whatever, if you got 15 seconds, 30 seconds, or 15 minutes. You're never gonna have 15 minutes in the test. The writing test or audio part is what, 4 minutes maybe? When they talk in the writing test, how long are those conversations? They're not that long. You don't have
not that long, like
the
4 to 5
preparation
minutes.
time. It's not 15 minutes, but it's not 30 seconds either. But whatever amount of time you have, while you're listening, you're making notes. Okay, planning to answer your question, making your plan. Okay, and you're breathing. Keep the breathing going, because when you started writing, I could see how nervous you were. You'll see at the beginning, I stopped the recording and then I was watching you and I was like, Jesus, I gotta record this so I can see this. You started off your writing. I'm gonna tell you something. It took you 2 minutes to write your first sentence. You spent about 30 seconds trying to spell riveting. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I have the proof. I recorded it. So,
Yeah, I remember.
yeah. All right. Now, you ended up with almost finished essay. You got, I think the structure, the paragraph structure that you put forth is good. We are going to now give your essay a grade. Okay, I've been teaching Coach Aiden how to grade. So I'm going to share the screen again. And we're going to pop over to visit Coach Aiden. Okay. Here is another essay attempt for the TOEFL writing test. Grade it. Analyze it. Rewrite it to reflect 28 out of 30. That's that. And analyze that. Yes. Paste. Go. $17 out of 30. Now, you think that's bad news? You're going to be happy about the 17 once I give you my grade. This is Coach Aiden's grade. Okay. So we got this nice breakdown of why. You got 3 out of 5 here, 2 out of 5 here. I'm going to copy this all to you. Okay. Then we rewrote your essay. If you wanted a 28 out of 30, this is what your essay should look like and read like. So I'm going to give you that. And then we have an analysis of this rewritten essay and why it scores a 28. Okay. So let's copy this. So in your brain trainer over here, you can find it right here.
Okay.
Okay, so look at it.
Okay.
All right, now. What was the question you were supposed to write about?
How does this video relate to my life? How does the videos
So this sentence is the only sentence I can see that is attempting to answer the question. Okay. And if you read this sentence, third, I need to learn what I learned. Mistake right there. You got that I, you didn't get that I.
Yeah.
Third, I need to learn what I learned the best that will help me take far lead time and other. I had no, I really, I couldn't even correct this sentence. I don't know what you're trying to say. Okay. All right. So, you know what a brief is, right? You're a lawyer. You should. It's a word. It's a lawyer word. The brief, right?
Yeah, I know.
The brief. The brief is the instructions, what you're supposed to do. The brief was, how does this relate to your life? Okay, and you missed it. You didn't write it all. So Coach Aiden gave you 17 out of 30, but he didn't know what the brief was. He was just analyzing it based on a general sample of TOEFL writing. Right? Now, missing the brief is a good thing. Don't worry, we're going to find a positive out of this. Okay. I think you may have been advised from past teachers to not make your answers personal.
Yes.
That's wrong. Make your answers personal. That's why I gave you the question the way I did. Okay, and I actually expected you to give me a synopsis of the video. Okay, to just report back what the video was. I expected you to do that. That's why I gave you the question the way it was, because I kind of knew that you wouldn't personalize it. I've discovered recently that teachers are teaching this to not personalize it, and it's totally the wrong strategy. How better to show that you understand the question by relating it to your own life? There's no better way. No better way, okay? Now, how to personalize that? You have two different ways to personalize it. When you stop listening, the 6 to 9 minute mark, she was mostly talking about, in and around that time, about how her work with stroke patients
Yes.
is important to her, right?
Yes. Right.
Now, if at that point you have a family member that has gone through a stroke, right? A close family member, and you've talked to doctors. If you had that life experience, then that's what you should have written about. Right? Yeah, this was an amazing, mind-expanding video, because I have an uncle, a very close uncle, who suffered a stroke, and having this information really helps me to understand what he was going through and possible ways to help him recover. And you personalize it. And here, when she said this, it made sense. It resonated with me because this, and you're personalizing it. Okay? Now, but the first thing she was talking about was, she talked about time, putting time in, and changing the way your brain does things. And that's what Infinity Key has been doing for you. We are building a neuroplastic net through practice and time that burns the pathways of using English into your brain. So eventually it becomes like dribbling a basketball. You don't have to think about it. It's you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Right? When you speak Chinese, you don't have to think about what tone do I use and how to, when you write Chinese, you don't have to think top to bottom, left to right. Your bihua is perfect all the time. You don't think about it. Right? And if you want to be really successful with English, it has to become the same thing. So we have to train the small steps to make it okay? And that's why doing the basic Infinity Key exercises are really important. You're learning all the different skills you need. And when it's about building your confidence, and this is going to be shattering to your confidence, right? That Coach Aiden gave you 17, and I'm giving you 0 because you missed the brief. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then at the end, when she starts talking about the 10,000 hours, you've heard that before, right? It takes 10,000 hours. That's Malcolm Gladwell, another Canadian. So if I was writing it, I would have added something about, well, this is at UBC in Vancouver. She's Canadian and she quotes a Canadian, Malcolm Gladwell. So, I would have tried to work that in, but if it didn't make sense, I would have cut it. Okay. I would have edited that out. Oh, this isn't fitting the pattern of what I want to talk about. So I cut it out. Now, let's say you had realized, oh, I can use my English training to support that I understand what's going on in this video. And then you hear the stroke stuff and you go, oh, I can relate to that better. Then you throw away the Infinity Key plan and you start building your stroke plan to personalize the answer. You see what I'm saying? You have to be, during that 15 minutes, you had a choice to personalize it via your English training or as a surviving family member of a stroke case, right? There's 2 choices there.
See.
Okay. So we'll do this again. Okay, and I'll give you a different question and you make sure you hit the brief, but I want you to start writing in a way that brings your personality out. This is what they want to see. Now, I also want to caution you about getting too upset about how this went, because this is the only time in your life ever again that you're going to have a time clock on you, the pressure to write it in such a short period of time. You're going to have deadlines. You know that you'll have deadlines professionally, but they're not 20-minute deadlines. Right? Yeah, if you're organized and you well thought out plans and strategies, time is your friend, not your enemy in real life. This is a hate test. I hate test because this is not a real life situation, and that putting that pressure on you forces you to forget all your strategy and panic, and you forgot all your strategy. Okay, as I said, writing this, you spent riveting, you spent 30 seconds trying to spell riveting, right?
Yeah, yes.
And then we have this S here. You know, it just starts off with a typing mistake. Now, let's talk about your training. This was the thing that you missed completely. And we need to rethink about it and start working on it. What is the most important body part for learning a language? Is it your skin? Is it your fingers? What is the most important body part for learning a language?
Brain.
Huh?
Brain. Brain.
Brain, no.
No.
Okay. Yes, the brain, yes, but how does most important body part for teaching the brain, for letting the information get to the brain? You used your eyes for this whole thing.
Eyes. Oh, eyes.
Okay, another reason, it's not the eyes, that's the wrong answer. You used your eyes the whole time you were writing, and you never once used your ears. What is the key to my best draft? Let's go look at my best draft. It's right there. Number 2. Read that out loud to me, please.
The key to success in this exercise is to read each sentence of your draft out loud.
It's even bolded. Out loud is bolded.
Out loud.
You're gonna hear, I started recording it. I wasn't gonna record it except for the last 5 minutes to see if you were reading it out loud. But you never read it out loud once. You're gonna see 18 minutes of writing or 19 minutes of writing without, the only thing you're gonna hear is keyboard clicking and me saying you have 5 minutes left. You never once read your essay out loud. And that, my friend, is everything we're trying to get you to do. Everything that we're doing in Infinity Key supports that you read this out loud. If you don't read it out loud, everything you've done is a waste of time and money. Do you understand how reading it out loud is the most important thing you can do? Do you know why? Do you understand the why? Do you understand how the training is supporting that? Very important that you understand this.
You mentioned. I think you mentioned that before. It's like if I read.
Sorry, lots.
Yeah,
I mentioned it in every class.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. Read it out
Okay.
loud, and so I can know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah. You will hear your mistakes. Just for grammar alone, you're going to hear your mistakes 10 times more often and 1,000 times faster than you will see them. You will hear them. So reading it out loud, you will hear some of the mistakes. And if something doesn't work, when you get to that sentence about I have to learn what I have to learn, that sentence, the third sentence or paragraph there, that's not working. Cut it. Better to not have it there than, oh, I need a third paragraph. I'm going to leave this here, even though it makes absolutely no sense. Think of you're a chef in a kitchen, right? and you have different elements on your plate. Each element is one of your paragraphs. Okay? But then the fourth element comes and the other chef burnt it. It's ruined. Are you still gonna put it on the plate? No. You're gonna get rid of it and say, sorry, no potatoes for you. The potatoes are ruined. We're not gonna serve it to you. We're not, you know. So if you have some rotten potatoes in your essay, just get rid of it. Better to only have two supporting paragraphs and one that makes no sense. Okay, get rid of it.
Okay. Okay.
So, reading out loud. Brain Trainer has been getting you to think in English. Okay, the way you practice when you write Brain Trainer. And also, it's to develop your keyboarding skills and your brainstorming skills. And if you had a good plan from the note-taking session, then you get into the Brain Trainer and go. Don't backspace. That's the key about Brain Trainer. You spent 30 seconds on riveting, 2 minutes on the first sentence. That is exactly why I started Infinity Key. Watching people type, backspace, 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 type, backspace, backspace, backspace. And I'm, hey, you only have 20 minutes. What are you doing? You're just throwing away valuable time. Okay? That's why you do Brain Trainer. Get the ideas out. The more you do Brain Trainer, the more accurate you're going to be with your typing, but you're still going to make typing and spelling mistakes. You'll get that when you come back and read it out loud. I told you the best thing I saw was how fast you were editing the last 5 minutes. Okay, your ability to go through it and find mistakes and improve it is good. You can move around the keyboard for editing quite well. But you would have found the mistakes faster if you read it out loud, and you would have been able to change out. You got to be thinking, oh, that's a simple word. I know a better word, and change out a simple word, a $10 word for a $50 word. You're constantly improving, editing, reading out loud, tasting it. Taste every dish. That's what a chef does, right? Before he puts it on the plate, he tastes every dish. Taste it with your ears, man. The ears. Okay? Rehearsals are getting you to hear yourself use grammar properly. So you need to do a lot of rehearsal so you can hear the mistakes when you're doing My Best Draft. Right? The more you rehearse, the more your brain hears how English is supposed to be used in Ray's voice, which is even better. Okay? So rehearsals are super important to build up that foundation of what English sounds like when Ray uses it the right way. So then when Ray makes a mistake in his My Best Draft, and he fixes it with his super speed editing skills. Out loud. Okay. Ear yoga, to hear English being used properly. That's another thing. The more you do ear yoga, the more you're hearing the right patterns of English sentence structure. Okay. Vocabulary journal, you can see, oh yeah, this is, the replacement theory. I said and I could have said dictated. There's different words for saying the word say. Your alts, if you look at your alts, there's a whole bunch of tongiza and vaniza for you, right?
Right.
So that's why you're doing vocab journal. So you're building that vocabulary. So you can, if you look at your notes, he will talk about your vocabulary choices. Coach Aiden gave you notes about your vocabulary choices. Okay, where is it? You can take a look. Where is it? It's in Brain Training. In the TOEFL writing test. Structure, language. The language used in this essay demonstrates basic understanding, but is hindered by incorrect grammar, awkward phrasing, chemical effect, the shortened effects, short-term memory. Yeah, okay.
Short-term.
Short-term memory.
Oh,
And affect is a noun. Effect is the verb. Right? The word choice is often imprecise, which further detracts from the clarity. Grammar and syntax score 2.5. 2 out of 5. Grammatical errors. Here's advice. This is advice. Enhance your, okay, so you can read this. All right. Then we rewrote the essay to show you what it would take, where you gotta go if you want to get a 28 out of 30 to this level. Right? So you can definitely use this the same way we've done other Coach Aiden written things. Find the vocabulary, put it in the vocab journal, ask me questions, and then start reading this out loud as a script. You gotta, the more you hear yourself, you know what it's all about. It's gonna be easier to understand it now. Okay? And there's an analysis of why this would got it 28 out of 30. Okay?
Okay.
So we don't need to go over that together. We're working on Anna also taking a look at your videos and maybe giving her advice. So that's why I'm recording it, so Anna can watch it later.
Okay.
Okay. While you were writing, I went and had a quick meeting with her and asked her your first question to me, which was, should I keep practicing TOEFL test? She agreed with me, no. Okay.
So okay, I
Develop
okay,
the skills that you need. Okay.
okay, I stay on the Infinity Keys task. Okay.
Yeah.
I will do another practice myself. So I will record it, and next time
Okay.
I'll show it to you. That
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Just you remember brain trainer plus then my best draft when you're writing.
yes,
You
yeah,
you wrote in the old style of backspace.
yeah.
Seriously,
Okay.
said 18 years ago I was teaching TOEFL. And I watched students do this and I said this, and that's why I started inventing Infinity Key, that exact reason, because it's time management. And there was a lot of time that was just blown away in the listening and in the writing. It wasn't good time management. And that's the stupidest part about this test, and it's why most people get low scores, because they're not managing their time properly.
Yeah, yeah, I never
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah.
So you can repeat this process on your own. You can do an ear yoga, 20 minutes, take notes, and then jump right into a 20-minute my best draft. And then you can go to make your own Coach Aiden and say, hey, how's this? Why is it wrong? How can I do it better? Why is yours better? That's the 3 questions I asked Coach Aiden to do with yours, right? You can do that all on your own and collect the points. Let me know how you're doing, right? If you ear yoga, 20 minutes, my best draft, 10 minutes of brain trainer, 10 minutes of my best draft, however you break it down. Okay.
Okay.
And note taking. Yeah. You see, now you have a strategy for note taking, a purpose to find your plan, to find your response, and then use that time to give talking points for your response. And then you start writing and you build your talking points out into sentences and you read out loud and you fix the grammar at pace, faster. Okay.
Notes. Okay. So when I'm taking notes, I should also making my plans to
Making your plan. Use that time. When you take notes in a Chinese lecture, you're half listening, half taking notes, right? You learn to listen with one ear kind of thing. Right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's, you're taking notes about what he said 30 seconds ago and listening to what he's saying now. You can divide that ability when it's in Chinese. So you can do it in English too. You just take, how many hours did it take you taking notes in Chinese to learn to do that? Right? So many hours, so many notes, so many pages of notes. And right now you've got 10 pages of notes compared to thousands of pages of notes in Chinese. If you had them all here, if they all fell on you right now. Okay? Any other questions?
There's another question about taking
Sure.
notes. Well, is there any tips to when I taking notes, I usually I usually miss the point because I'm how can
Okay.
I usually I don't- I can't understand the point of the video until I finish my notes. I just write it write down what I heard, write down what I heard, and but it's a little hard for me to while I'm write on my notes and at the same time and
Yeah,
how can I say?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's a little hard for me to manage my structure of the assets or making a plan while I'm taking the notes. Yeah, is there any
Yeah,
strategy or tips
let me
to
answer by asking you a question. Was getting your LLB easy? I imagine getting your LLB was quite hard.
it takes lots of time
Yeah,
to
yeah,
write
yeah,
my
yeah.
essay, but yeah, but I don't have yeah, it's hard.
So but it got easier the more you studied, the more you. Now LLB is something you can study for because it's rote learning, it's pushy, right?
Yeah, and
You know, you have to memorize case law and there's so many things to memorize as a lawyer, right?
yes,
So that's perfect training for a Taiwanese student because your superpower is bushi, right?
right.
All Taiwanese kids, their superpower is bushi, but lianxi is their kryptonite. Because lianxi involves making mistakes. Lianxi is hard. Lianxi doesn't have as much experience as bushi does in a Taiwanese person's life, right? So taking notes, you're saying it's hard for me to take notes. Well, here's one idea: give up or keep practicing.
Okay.
Right? Keep practicing and don't think about how difficult it is. Because if you thought the LLB was hard, you would have given up. And you didn't give up. Tells me you're not a quitter. Okay, it's uncomfortable. It's not hard, it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
So get more comfortable with it through practice plus time. It's the only answer.
Okay.
Or well, you have another answer, you could give up. Right? Sorry, tonight's hard, Ray. I had to speak some hard truth to you tonight. Okay, and I don't want you to be scared. Just I want you to motivate yourself to put in the time practicing. There's lots of really good ways to practice you have now. Okay.
Okay.
And they all support everything that I've asked you to do supports you being able to read your essay out loud and make it better that way. It all comes down to that. Okay. So I'm gonna be posting this video on YouTube, but unlisted, so, and then we'll ship, cause I can't put it in Google Drive, it's way too big a video. Alright, and Anna might contact you to book a class and go over it, review it with you some more. Okay, to show you, oh, see here's where you're spending 2 minutes on your first sentence, that kind of thing. And to talk about strategy from her point of view as well, you know she's very helpful for that. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Right now, no.
No?
Yeah.
All right, good work tonight. I know it was hard. Chin up. Okay,
Thank you,
we'll
Coach.
keep going.
Okay.
Take care, my friend. Oh,
Thank
hey,
you.
don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Hang on. Oop, share. Signing out. So you saw this, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and you understand that we wouldn't even, because you have to give us 1 hour and that was a no-show. But because
Yes.
it was
Yes.
your first time, we'll give you your emergency cancellation.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach. Thank
No
you,
problem, no problem. We're here for you. But we gotta pay the coach, right? He was there for you, he was waiting for you, so. 10 o'clock leaves you with 9.5 hours. And do you are we gonna move to once a week, or do you still wanna try and do 2 a week sessions with me?
Uh, Mm,
Because we don't have anything on the schedule now for you. Right, so
oh,
you can see my Saturday is really, I go from 12:30 to 6:30, 6 hours, no break. So I don't really
yes.
wanna do another class on Saturday morning.
Okay.
Sunday, not too early. Works. If you want, but Anna's asked that we make this the weekly, she wants to book the time, so. Every week on Wednesday from, it's sorry, not this one, this one. Okay,
Mm,
so what we want to do here is
You mean once a week?
weekly on Wednesday.
Weekly
Repeat
on Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Weekly is on
And
Wednesday.
then if you feel you need to book extra time, then we can find some time. But let's make this our regular meeting.
Mm, it's Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
change later, but for now, we're gonna put it on, we're gonna lock it in.
Okay.
Okay, so we can see now that next Wednesday. And the next Wednesday. It goes on until you decide. When you can snatch the pebble from my hand. When you can snatch the pebble from my hand.
Snatch pedal.
Yeah, when you can snatch the pebble from my hand, it is time for you to leave.
Coach, is Sunday available? No.
Sunday is available. What time?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Sunday afternoon or you mean IK time is available or not
I
available?
can't, where it's purple, it means I'm available for you.
Oh, available.
Where
Okay.
it's purple, so like Thursday, all day, I have lots of free time till 3:30, then I go to the city to do my day job, my night
Oh,
job,
okay.
right? Oh, this one's canceled too. Neat.
Uh, yeah. I'm thinking about Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon.
Okay, today. What time?
Uh, maybe 2 p.m. 2 to 2 p.m. to 3:30 or 4 p.m. Yes, recently I I need time to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm next week I'm shooting a commercial for
Oh,
Starbucks Airlines. So,
start. Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so they're, I have to play Santa Claus.
Okay.
But it does sound like a pretty cool commercial. I magically turn into Santa Claus and then somehow I'm on an airplane and I leave the airplane and fly across the sky. So there's gonna be some sort of magic stuff. It sounds like a pretty cool story, because I don't like to play Santa Claus, but they're
Oh yeah. So
paying me a lot of money. But that's all night. So I go to the airport to Taoyuan
oh
Airport at
yeah.
like
Down airport.
8 o'clock at night, and I work till 8 o'clock in the morning. So
Oh yeah.
I'm canceling most of my Wednesday. Sorry. I'm gonna save this for now, and then Anna will make it one of the coach's corners. I've just reserved the spot for you now. Okay,
Thank you, coach.
yeah, but you can see next week. Okay,
Okay.
anyway, okay, we'll let you go.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Good night. See
Good
you
night.
Sunday.
Thank you, coach. Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.